Welcome back, everybody, to the Versus Games Elite Cup here in Oviedo, Florida. We are halfway through our Swiss rounds here in Oviedo, Adit, and now it's time to really lock in.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be a really exciting match against two players at 3-0. We have Riley Wilcox versus Javon Teixeira. I believe Javon won a cup recently.
I believe he did win a cup recently. He did win one. Him and I have had some good battles ourselves. He is a really strong player. And I've even lost to Riley in the finals of a challenge before.
Right, yes. This looks like a very, very, very exciting match of two promising young Florida players. I think these players are younger than me by a decade. Possibly. I think Riley is.
Riley's definitely. Riley's definitely younger than me by a decade too. Actually, 10 years and a month.
Oh, wow.
10 years, 1 month. He's younger than I am. But Joven is, Joven's a 2000s baby.
Right. It's kind of crazy. This is how much VGC has grown. These players have aged up into the Masters division, but back whenever Thundurus and Terrakion were around for VGC 2013, they probably would have been 7 years old and what's a Pokemon beside Pikachu, but
exactly here. But we see our trainers have gotten up to the stream table right now. It's Joven Teixeira and Riley Wilcox. Both of these trainers at 3-0, and they are using some of the more common restricted Pokemon that we've seen.
Right.
Let's start with Joven Teixeira real quick. Like I said, Joven is a very underrated player right now. He is bringing the Zamazenta Crown Shield with Heavy Slam over Behemoth Bash like we saw previously. But like Elijah, he is bringing that Chien-Pao and Dragonite. However, I believe the difference is Elijah's Dragonite did not have Aerial Ace.
Yes, it had Giga Impact instead. I like this change. Amoonguss and Fluttermane ran out this core pretty fairly. Sometimes people use Entei over Dragonite, but it seems like Dragonite is our local favorite this time.
Speaking as an Entei fan, I do enjoy me some Entei. But meanwhile, let's look at Riley Wilcox. What do you got on him?
So basically, this team looks like it's the team we saw round one but with a different booster energy Pokemon. Roaring Moon.
Ooh, we get to see a Roaring Moon on stream.
Right, and if some of you who were watching the 2024 World Championships might have recognized Adam Sharafu on stream using the Calyrex Balance team with Roaring Moon. It was Calyrex, Clefairy, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Urshifu, Roaring Moon, and I think that's a really interesting adaptation for the mirror. And I did play Adam Sharafu at 5-1 at World, so that was pretty fun. I lost, as you can see, but very, very interesting adaptation onto those teams. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to work out for Riley. And we also see the Terra Normal Calyrex Shadow Rider. So this team is really well equipped to deal with the mirror.
And the Covert Cloak too, which actually turns off any Icy Winds.
Yes, I think that's just a really good adaptation for Riley's team. The important thing to note is that Terra Normal, while it looks amazing into Javon's Fluttermane set, it does mean that it's weak to Body Press.
And also to note, on Joven's side, Chien-Pao does not have Sacred Sword.
Yes, but I think in this case it's going to be a lot less impactful here. Having two Dark-type moves to cover for Zamazenta's fighting coverage is completely fine. It's good. Yeah,
I would agree with that. But we're about to get into game number one here, ladies and gentlemen. Joven Teixeira, Riley Wilcox. One of these two trainers is going to start off 4-0 today. And we're going to see for Riley, he is leading Roaring Moon and Ogerpon Hearthflame versus Chien-Pao and Dragonite.
Yeah, I really like this lead from Riley.
Are we really back in Regulation C?
I'm kind of hoping we are, but we see the Photosynthesis activating on Roaring Moon getting the speed boost, meaning that it will be the fastest thing on the field. Now, with Chien-Pao and Dragonite, there is always a way for them to be the fastest thing on the field with something called a priority move. So that Sucker Punch Extreme Speed always always an option. But we see Roaring Moon go for the protect.
And an Ice Spinner coming out into the Roaring Moon slot. So Riley's Roaring Moon does not take any damage here. And Ogerpon goes for Ivy Cudgel into the Chien-Pao, bringing it down to its Focus Sash here. But Dragonite locked itself in a Choice Band Outrage, and it went into the Roaring Moon!
Yeah, that's the problem with Outrage. It randomly selects a target. So, yeah, that was just very unfortunate.
It was, and now Dragonite has to click Outrage again or switch itself out here.
I think the interesting thing is that you can't switch out when you're locked into Outrage.
Honestly, you can't. I mean, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Because you didn't.
It failed.
Yeah,
so.
it failed.
But Choice Band, right, yeah. The choice
but now it comes down to maybe the Ogerpon went for a Spiky Shield, but it did not. It's going for an attack here. Acrobatics went into Chien-Pao, and Ogerpon went Ivy Cudgel into the... It probably went to the Chien-Pao slot, really, but we're going to see the Outrage come out, and it does go into the Roaring Moon, and Roaring Moon is down!
Yeah, it seems like Roaring Moon didn't get any mileage. It just protected and whipped Acrobatics into a protect. That's probably not a good sign for Riley. Personally, maybe some other move like Tailwind or even focusing down on that Dragonite might have been the impactful play, but as of now, we see Dragonite at half HP, and we have Ogerpon, Heartflame, and Urshifu.
And we do see that Urshifu is the Pokemon that came out on Riley's side here. Meanwhile, Chien-Pao can switch out. Dragonite is locked in because of Outrage.
Yeah, so this is going to be just very... Let's see what happens.
And we see an Ivy Cudgel come out into the Dragonite, another resisted hit, but that looks to be a critical hit.
Yeah.
And it was a critical hit, and Urshifu goes Surging Strikes into Dragonite, a double up into the Dragonite, takes it down, and prevents that Choice Band and Outrage from doing any further damage.
I really like that targeting by Riley. Very, very smart.
I like that turn as well. By getting rid of Dragonite, you avoid any major damage on either of your Pokemon, or potentially a knockout on Ogerpon there.
Right, yes. That is just, Ogerpon seems to be the piece that Riley needs to break through the Zamazenta. We haven't seen the Terastallization yet, but it looks like Fluttermane is poised to do fairly well into this.
It does, but also Riley has that Ogerpon Heartflame out here with Mold Breaker. It could still Terastallize and get the Embody aspect of +1 attack into the Zamazenta. And suddenly, that's a +1 attack, super effective into a +1 defense. And it's essentially, as if neither of them had boosts.
Yeah, but we see Riley Terastallize.
He is Terastallizing, and it's the Urshifu, actually. So Urshifu is going to go Terra Stellar here.
Yes, very interesting choice of Terastallization from Riley. We see Follow Me from Ogerpon, keeping that Urshifu safe from the single target attacks.
And actually, Fluttermane went for Shadow Ball here. Very interesting choice. You get the Shadow Ball off and the Body Press at +1. Ogerpon goes down, but now it remains to be seen, what did Urshifu attack with? It is close combat into Fluttermane!
That was just such an unfortunate turn for Riley. I think he was trying to call the switch or something like that, but it's looking, this is looking very precarious for Riley right now. Having Wide Guard to protect, and then having Icy Wind or Shadow Ball to neuter this Calyrex.
And we do see Urshifu opting for a Protect here, as Fluttermane going for that Icy Wind to at least break the Focus Sash, but again, Calyrex cannot have its speed drop due to that Covert Cloak, and in comes an Astral Barrage!
Yeah, I'm really... but Fluttermane survives.
And a critical hit on Zamazenta too, as Zamazenta went for the Body Press into the Urshifu, which protects itself and at least survives. But now, Urshifu is in a great position here to click Terra Stellar Aqua Jet into the Fluttermane and a Psychic into the Zamazenta.
Yeah, this is just... I can't believe this, but Riley just turned it around thanks to the positioning of his opponent.
He really did here. That is an incredible adjustment by Riley on the fly here. It looked like Joven was in a really good position with Fluttermane and Zamazenta on the field, but that critical hit really did a number, and I'm actually surprised that that was a special, super effective Astral Barrage, and it didn't bring Fluttermane to, one-hit knockout, or even if it had a Focus Sash, a Focus Sash.
Right, this could be an indication on how Riley's Calyrex Shadow is trained. Perhaps maybe a little bit more bulky than some of the Astral Barrage sets, Calyrex Shadow sets that we've seen before. But single target Astral Barrage takes out the Zamazenta, leaving Javon with only Chen Pao in the back.
With 1 HP left. One HP and a dream.
So perhaps Calyrex might just go for Sucker Punch. I don't think,
And seeing the writing on the wall, Joven has decided we're going to move on to game number 2 here. But what a comeback by Riley Wilcox there to get that win.
Right, especially after those first couple of turns, it looks like Riley was losing a lot of grounding, especially with that Roaring Moon being knocked out so quickly. Very happy, very exciting for him that he was able to turn around the tides.
Now, of course, we do have to also mention Dragonite. It locked itself in a choice band in Outrage there, and it got the unfortunate choice in terms of Outrage, which, in all fairness, that might be something that they could look at in a future game. Just allow Outrage to choose your target, but if you choose, then maybe you lower the damage output or whatever, even with the choice band, like do something with it.
Right, yes. And we see that Riley and Javon are locking in for their game 2. So it will be interesting to see if the leads have changed or if any adaptations have been made in the set.
We're going to find out here. Game number 2 is about to go live. Riley leading the same with the Roaring Moon and the Ogerpon Hearthblade, and it's the same lead of Chen Pao and Dragonite.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Riley, if Javon decides to make a different choice in his attacking move this time. Maybe going for something like an Aerial Ace instead of a Outrage.
It's possible here, but we do see Joven is opting to terrestrialize his Dragonite. He saw the Dragonite earlier, fell in love with it, and is giving it a giant ring.
Yes, just like Elijah before him, he is giving a ring to that Dragonite. Follow me, redirecting any attacks away from this Roaring Moon.
But in comes that extreme speed with the choice band and the Sword of Ruin, and that is a one-hit knockout.
Yeah, that's just very unfortunate. We see knockoff doesn't even
good damage, but it knocks off the choice band here. But in comes the Ice Spinner into this Roaring Moon, another super effective hit, and it knocks out. So on turn 1, Joven is immediately up 4-2.
Yeah, this is just a very unfortunate position for Javon. Having a Calyrex that is, if he Terras, then he's going to take so much from Extreme Speed. But if he does not Terra, he's liable to get Sucker Punch. This is just a very, very unfortunate situation. I think they're going to have to really, I think he's really going to have to try to think about how he's going to get out of this.
I think you're right here, because Dragonite can still go for extreme speeds with the Terra Normal, which just doesn't get as much damage with the choice band on it. But you still will hurt any of your opponent's Pokemon here. Now, Calyrex does have access to Nasty Plot on Riley's side, which could allow it to just snowball on its attack power. And in comes actually Zamazenta making an appearance here. So it remains to be seen what happens here as a Dauntless Shield activates, and Urshifu goes for a Protect, actually.
Yeah, I'm liking the Protect on Urshifu. Maybe Riley aiming to knock out this Dragonite.
That is definitely a possibility here as a Psychic comes out and you called it. Dragonite goes down here, but Calyrex gets the +1.
Yeah, that could be impactful for future turns. We'll have to see. But getting a +1 to its special attack stat should be important.
It really could be, because in comes Chen Pao now, and Chen Pao activates the Sword of Ruin. It weakens the defense, but because Dragonite used the Terastallization, Zamazenta is in theory weak to a close combat with the Sword of Ruin.
Right.
And Riley going for that Terastallization here, and he is opting to Terastallize Urshifu once again with the Terra Stellar, and with the Sword of Ruin and the Terra Stellar, this will be very close.
Yeah, but we see the double target into Urshifu, a combination of Sucker Punch, doing an okay damage. We'll have to see how much Body Press does. But Aqua Jet into Chen Pao
to break the Focus Sash here. But more importantly, the Astral Barrage comes out. And how much damage will this do to Chen Pao at +1? It will knock out Chen Pao. Ooh, suddenly we are in a really good position here.
Okay.
Because now the Grenade, it's +2 on special attack. Body Press comes out. It doesn't have the Sword of Ruin, but it does not matter because Urshifu goes down.
Right, but this is still looking like a very bad position for Riley, considering that Terastallization has been spent and Javon's Flutter Mane does have that Shadow Ball.
It does, and Shadow Ball is a 4-time super effective hit into the Calyrex here. So this is very close.
Right. I think either way, Javon really has pinned Riley here, being able to punish a Terra Normal with Body Press or, defeating Calyrex with a Shadow Ball to take advantage of its Dark and Psychic typing.
And Joven going for the Wide Guard here to protect from Astral Barrage, but Fluttermane going for that 4-time super effective Shadow Ball here. I believe Riley was just trying to see what would happen here, but if his Calyrex could live this would be absolutely massive.
Yeah, I think that Psychic doesn't even pick up Zamazenta from this range, but we'll have to see. Shadow Ball knocks out Calyrex. Okay.
A one-hit knockout into Calyrex Shadow Rider, and we are going to Game 3.
We're very fortunate to be having so many Game 3s on, every game going to a Game 3. This cup, I think we were just... Everybody's really excited.
4 rounds in, 4 Game 3s.
Right.
It just shows how good Florida is. I mean, we have the best local scene in the country. I don't give me anything about like California or New York or New Jersey. It's Florida, baby. We got the NAIC champion. We got a young kid who is top cutting regionals left and right. We've got you, a Worlds competitor. We've got Brady Smith. We got Riley Factura. Florida is the best local scene, and we are seeing it at this cup.
Yes, it's very, and thank you for the kind words, Joe. Florida, I'm really thankful to be, I think everybody here, they're very thankful to be forged in the fires of Florida.
Forged is one way, fire definitely, because, it's Florida. I'm hearing people complain about the heat up north, and I'm like, the heat up north? You want to say it's hot up there? Try waking up at 7 a.m. in this state, and you're sweating before you get out of your garage.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're getting into game number 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. The heat is on with this set. One of these trainers is going to 4-0. Who is it going to be?
So we see the same lead from Riley Wilcox going for the Roaring Moon and the Ogerpon, and Chen Pao and Dragonite from Javon. So both trainers not switching up the lead.
But we do see the booster energy once again activating here and getting that speed raised. Now Riley has an interesting position here because we did see how much damage the Terra Normal did to Ogerpon. I'm not sure. I didn't really do calcs before about Terra Normal Choice Band and Dragonite with Sword of Ruin into Roaring Moon.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting to see what happens. And a lot of these trainers adopting Terra Normal Extreme Speed with Chen Pao might be interesting to see how far this combination goes in the metagame. I believe one of this combination got day 2 at Birmingham Regionals, but
And we see the Protect come out from the Roaring Moon. The Extreme Speed went into the Roaring Moon, so we're not even going to see that.
we see the pop-off by Riley, so maybe an Ivy Cudgel into that Dragonite?
Possibly, but we do see the Ice Spitter.
Oh.
A critical hit, though, into the Ogerpon. The Ivy Cudgel, it's a neutral hit.
Okay,
A critical hit,
okay.
one-hit knockout!
Yeah, that when there's Ivy Cudgel, there's a way. Okay.
So Dragonite is down. The Terra is down. And oh my god.
This is just such a good position for Riley. Even though Ogerpon took so much damage, it still will be around to redirect one more attack.
It will be, but Zamazenta is the Pokemon that comes out on the side of Joven, getting that Dauntless Shield up. And it really just remains to be seen what Riley will do here, because Riley's in an advantageous position by virtue of getting Ogerpon to knock out Dragonite there. But with Chen Pao on the field, it really is interesting, because you could go for a Sucker Punch here, calling an attack, or you could just go with the Follow Me.
And we see the Terastallization being used by Riley, and Roaring Moon is turning into that flying type. With its booster energy consumed and this Terra flying, its acrobatics is going to do a hefty amount to anything that may target it.
And we see the Follow Me come out here, like you said. In comes that Sucker Punch. It will fail on the Ogerpon here. What did the Roaring Moon go for? It went for Tailwind. That is a huge play by Riley, because now, even with the booster energy, Calyrex is the fastest Pokemon on the field.
Right.
The only negative about it, though, is that as long as Chen Pao's on the field, you're in a problem.
But we see Riley bring that Urshifu Rapid Strike, possibly trying to attempt breaking, KOing that Chen Pao. So it should be very interesting to see if a combination of Heavy Slam and Sucker Punch knocks out Roaring Moon.
It would be very interesting about that, but also, I don't know if a combination of Close Combat and Terra Flying Acrobatics with the Sword of Ruin can knock out Zamazenta.
But we see the Protect into Urshifu. We see Javon not looking very happy about that. So a Sucker Punch and Body Press aiming to knock out that
Urshifu, but we do see the acrobatics on the Roaring Moon. It went into the Chen Pao and doesn't bring Chen Pao down in Focus Sash. That is a very bulky cat.
Yeah, or perhaps this Roaring Moon may not be trained very much in physical attack, but we'll have to see.
It could very well be, and this is a very bold strategy here, Captain. Let's see how it pays out. Protecting in front of an Urshifu.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
And we see the acrobatics comes out into the Zamazenta. This does modest damage. But the Surging Strikes comes out, and Chen Pao is down.
Right, and I think Riley has been setting himself up to really have a strong Calyrex endgame. With that Chen Pao gone, it's free reign for Calyrex right now. Now, unfortunately, it looks like Zamazenta its Heavy Slam is not doing a lot of damage into Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon is a very heavy Pokemon, I can imagine, because it is carrying Riley's team right now. So, its burden is very heavy, so we'll have to see.
However, that's an important note. This is the last turn of Tailwind here. Acrobatics coming out into the Roaring Moon, into the Flutter Mane. It does not knock out the Flutter Mane. A Surging Strikes comes out, though, and Surging Strikes knocks out Flutter Mane, and suddenly it is the Zamazenta against the world.
Yeah, I think Riley's targeting was very intentional, very smart. Just very clean play.
And the Body Press comes out and brings Urshifu down close to its Focus Sash. But Joven, seeing the writing on the wall here, has opted to cancel the battle. And Riley Wilcox, alongside Calyrex Shadow Rider, is 4-0.
Yes, very well played by both trainers. A very exciting back and forth set. But, Riley just came out on this one. Very well played.
Honestly, that was an incredible set by two of the most underrated players in Florida. And we saw in Game 3, it really turned the tide for Riley, getting that one-hit knockout on Dragonite.
Yes, I think that identifying that Dragonite was the problem Pokemon for him, just very smart. And also the fact that Javon's he targeted Roaring Moon. That protect and keeping Roaring Moon safe for later, very, very, very smart.
I think you're exactly right. And also, by not going follow me, he kept Ogerpon around. And even with the critical hit too, a critical hit Ice Spinner. That is so unfortunate. And it almost knocked out Ogerpon through the neutrality there.
Right, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how Ogerpon was trained. Well, maybe I'll have to ask Riley about that. I know some people run very bulky Ogerpons, and this was, critical hit does ignore a lot of the bulk investment, so we'll have to see. But that was really a clutch survival.
And shoutouts to Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon is now 4-0.
Yes, so we can no longer call it Roaring Mid.
No, we reserved that for a different ancient Paradox Pokemon. I believe it's called Walking Wake. Yeah, no, that one is not a very good Pokemon. Even in the sun, where it's supposed to be, it's not that strong.
I beg to differ. I've been on the receiving ends of beatdowns from Walking Wake, Torkoal, Lilligant stuff at my locals last year.
Okay, that's Lilical, so we'll throw a caveat there.
Yeah, but Roaring Moon did actually make finals of the Birmingham Regional Championships. Oliver Eskelin used it, so I suspect this is not going to be the last time we see Roaring Moon, at these Reg G events. I think Roaring Moon is only getting started.
I think you're exactly right there, Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick break. We will be back with round 5 of the Orvieto League Cup here at Versus Games, so don't go anywhere, and we'll see you with round number 5.